Hey everybody, this is Devin with another video, this time on critical decision making. Decision making is a skill that is very important to know. It is a skill that can be developed. And what I've been going over with the staff at Counterlogic Gaming lately is a three-tiered concept to help you make better decisions. The way that I see it is that you follow three chronological tasks and you get to like a great decision. So let's start with the first one. So the first way to determine if your decision is going to be a good one is you collect data. So data is the first component. What it means is you get good information on the thing that you think you need to make a decision about. So if you have to make a decision on whether or not you are going to go to the movies or something, it could be just like this simple. You probably don't want to run this process for something like that, but we're just going to use it as an arbitrary example. Just roll with it. You want to go to the movies. You probably go to Rotten Tomatoes and get some good ideas of the reviews. Maybe you ask a few friends. You need data. You need data to set the secondary, which is what I call a boundary condition. Now, a boundary condition is a minimum goal that you set out to accomplish. It's a metric by which you can detect pass and fail. So a boundary condition means after you collect the data, you need to know what you're actually going after. So let's say that you have like a social media account and your boundary condition would be something like, well, I want to get more followers. But maybe that's not your boundary condition. Maybe your boundary condition is actually, I want to get more engagement and more people to like my post, which is a very different objective, right? Let's break it down. Let's say that you really want to change jobs and you're not exactly sure what to do. Well, the first decision is you want to collect a lot of data about what kind of other jobs there are and what other things you could do. And then you might want to understand the boundary condition based on the data. The boundary condition may be, I'm quitting my job because I want to make more money. It may also be, I'm quitting my job to make myself happier. Or I'm quitting my job to move to another state, to a place that I want to be. And all those are different boundary conditions, and your boundary condition will affect your strategy. This final one. Strategy is the last thing that happens. So if you've collected the data and you know that you need to move to a different place, or you're thinking about moving to a different place, and it seems like there's a lot of pros to moving to like Seattle. You know, you look at Seattle, you go, I like the rain, and Seattle has rain. I like the stuff around it. I like the culture, and it has better culture. And then you set a boundary condition of, okay, I should move to Seattle in the next 6 months. And then your strategy becomes, well, I should get the moving trucks. I should do all the logistics. I should do all that stuff. The problem is that everybody starts here. Everybody starts on strategy, and that's what they do first. They think of what is the thing that I need to do, and like look at like a lot of the things that people ask me, a lot of questions, right? I know that they're starting with their strategy first. They're going, Devin, I don't know how to solve this problem. What do I do about this person that doesn't like me? Or what do I do about my procrastination and my laziness? Well, you have to understand first what the nature of the problem is. You have to collect as much data about the problem as possible. If you're procrastinating, you need to understand what the source of that procrastination is. Is it because you just have a lot of distractions and like you'd rather read Twitter? Maybe the boundary condition becomes then that I need to block Twitter from my computer. And then the strategy is that I'm going to get a program called Stay Focused, which is a program that I use on my computer that actually blocks Twitter. So I'll run you through like something like that, where I figured out that I was procrastinating too much by spending time on Reddit. So a while ago, I stopped going to Reddit except for like 2 or 3 really critical subreddits. And I collected the data first, and the way I got the data was I said, how many hours am I spending on Reddit a week? And I logged it, and then I got the amount of time. And then I said, what is the boundary condition that I need to set? Like, what's the minimum guarantee for success? Well, it's I should block Reddit and figure out what happens if that's going to increase my overall happiness. So the exact boundary condition I set, and you want to make it as specific as possible, the exact one that I set was let's try to not use Reddit for 30 days. And the strategy that I set was let's use a program that actually blocks it from my computer so that I can execute on this task. because most likely, if I just set that condition and I don't have a strategy, it's not going to get done. So all three of these things need to exist for you to solve your problem. Because if you don't have the data, then you don't know what condition you need to set in order to succeed. And if you have the condition, but you don't have a strategy, you just won't do anything. And if you have a strategy without the data and boundaries and conditions, you're not going to know you're not going to be right. You're just going to execute onto something that's bad. So what I think is so great about this model is that it basically gets broken down into any of these three categories is a reason why someone fails. If you start with data, and then you can accumulate the most that you want about it. So like for me, I accumulated, yep, I'm spending a lot of time on Reddit. Here's the objective measurement of how many hours that is. I can then establish the condition based on that data. I need to stop doing this. I think my life would be better. And then I can develop the strategy. I'll install a program. I'll stop doing this thing. I'll stop talking to that person that's negative to me. I'll stop eating that bad food, right? And all three of these things collect kind of bound off of each other. So let's use another one. Let's say you want to improve your diet. So you first start collecting a lot of data. How does eating bad make you feel? How do you feel after you eat a meal with tons of sugar, and how do you feel the next day? And how would you feel if you were eating healthy? How do you feel after you have a salad? What's that reward like inside, right? Then maybe you want to set a boundary condition of, I'm going to lose 5 pounds in 30 days, or I'm going to eat 1 salad a day. And those conditions are very different, right? You have to determine the condition based on your data. Because if your goal is to lose 5 pounds in 30 days, you may not need to change your eating at all. You may just need to go running 3 times a week, and that's your strategy. But if your goal is to eat a salad every day, then your strategy becomes, I need to buy a salad every day. See, the strategy is always simple, but that's where we get in our head about it. We think that the strategy is the hard part. The hard part is actually setting the conditions. The hard part is setting the metric for pass and fail. This is what this looks like in my life if I succeed. I lose this amount of weight. I get this many friends. I get this kind of income. And this is what it looks like if I don't succeed. Now I can build a strategy to go to that success. But I can't do that before I have the knowledge and I have the conditions set. So instead of focusing on like the strategy and like what you should do, and think first about the condition that you want and make that as precise as possible. It's like those old stories of the lamp that you rub and the genie comes out and says, I'll give you 1 wish. And then you wish for something, but you wish for it so literally, like I wish for all of the people that I've ever met to be in the same place and make me happy. And then the genie raises everyone from the dead that you ever met. And then there's like a bunch of zombies running around, right? Like it's like a crazy example like that where the wish goes wrong because the conditions you set were not right. So the strategy has to come from the conditions. Conditions have to come from the data. And if you think about your big decisions in your life this way, it'll become a lot easier to act because you can then justify each move and execution of the strategy based on the previous 2. A lot of people, they procrastinate because they haven't actually compiled the data and they haven't built compelling reasons as to why they want to do something. A lot of other people, they procrastinate because they don't actually know what they really want. They have a general idea of what they really want. Like they may kind of want to have success in something, but they haven't established the condition that's imperative for them to succeed. And until they do that, their strategy is not going to work, or they're not going to execute on their strategy. It's only until you have these 3 in unison that I think you actually get an effective life. So data, boundary conditions, and strategy. It was a little bit convoluted, but I hope I explained it well. If I did, please leave a comment in the YouTube section or Facebook section below. And if I didn't, tell me also, because this was a little bit confusing, but it makes sense in my head, so hopefully it makes sense to you. Data, boundary conditions, and strategy. Thank you so much for watching this video. Looking forward to seeing you again next time, and looking forward to hearing about the big decisions you make with this strategy.